What's going on, guys? Nick Willard from Almost Canon. So, could the Japanese Oni be a Nephilim? I think there's plenty of evidence out there to suggest that they could be. So, I did an episode a few weeks ago on Japanese folklore, and in that episode, I picked the Oni as one of these creatures I focused on. And I learned that the Oni... Now, what is an Oni? So, an Oni is the product of, it's the child of the kami of the underworld, or the god of the underworld. Initially, there were these two lesser kami, or these two lesser gods, that created everything we know here on Earth. And then when the female kami died, she became the goddess of the underworld, so on and so forth. She produced these Oni. Now, these Oni, they're described as being these giants, these massive giants that are often described as being cannibals with horns on their heads, tusks in their mouths, and they're often depicted as having 6 fingers. Now, does that sound familiar? Cannibalistic giants with 6 fingers. But there is one other detail that I found extremely interesting, and that is in the medieval story of the Oni king, Shutten Doji. So there was this Oni king, and this is in medieval Japan. Now, the story goes that the king or the warlord or the emperor of Japan at the time was sick of all these travelers going missing in this area, so he sent his greatest warriors to go hunt down the kami king, Shutten Doji. And when they found him, they did battle or whatever, but they were only able to kill him when they cut his head off, right? Now, that's a key detail right there, because not many people know that when David and his mighty men, this is going back to the Bible, went off into the wilderness to hunt down these Nephilim, the only way they were able to actually kill them was to cut their heads off. Now, there's a lot of details here that are meshing together. We have cannibalistic giants, 6 digits, can only kill them by cutting their heads off. I mean, it's all making sense, right? Now, is the Japanese Oni a Nephilim? I mean, I can't officially answer that. However, in my discussions with Gary Wayne, I do recall him mentioning that there were other Nephilim who left the Holy Land and spread out throughout the wider world. So, could the Japanese Oni be a Nephilim? I think there's enough evidence to support that they could be. And that definitely sounds almost canon to me.